Hi, I'm at Mounsey. I've been working on patching the holes in the Corvair with Griffin, and our goals are to patch all the holes in the Corvair and to be able to weld them, which is my goal, is to weld them all shut. And the tools I have been using for this have been air duct right there. I figure that's nice because the smoke, it helps suck up the smoke that comes off the welds, and instead of getting throughout the entire shop and keep it from smelling bad. So, and the welder I'm using is a 140 Pro MIG, great welder, and we're using the GMAW process, so that requires the CO2, nitrous oxide, whatever it is, can't remember. And my welding hood, or a welding hood, auto darkening, very handy when I'm welding on these tight places, so I can see where I'm going to weld and be able to really get in there. And a wire and a grinder, disc grinder, so I can get the bigger stuff off that my wire wheel cannot, so I can clean up the metal. What the wire wheel is mainly used for, so I can clean the metal before I weld it to keep porosity down. And one of my biggest problems I had earlier in the year was that I couldn't get a good weld, and I couldn't figure out why. But I found out that the base metal, the patches that I'm welding to the car were way thicker than the car, and I knew that before, but I didn't think it would really cause that much of a problem. But my welds were not coming out they were supposed to, so I found that I needed to boost my amperages up and my wire speed so I could accommodate for the thicker metal. And in doing so, I would burn straight through on the thinner metal, the car metal, right there. It's not very thick, so I had to run my bead down beneath, mainly onto the patch, and slowly work it in to the car metal and get it so it wouldn't burn all the way away, but so that it would look at least somewhat good and keep it on there really well. And while I was doing that, instead of having my pressure at 15, I had to bump it up to about 17, 18, my gas pressure, and that really helped it to keep the welds looking nice. And here's an example of a finished product right here that me and Griffin were working on. See, he had to make these patches. Can't really see the patches that much right here, but there's a patch, there's a patch. There was a big hole before, and we had to stick in with a metal rod and hold it back while I tacked it onto there. I can't really see where I'm pointing at. And this one, we had to sneak it in there as well. And I had a problem trying to stick onto a rod there so Griffin can hold it, but I found that I used a 7018 arc welding rod. I stuck it in there and to hold it there. Well, I didn't do that, but I had somebody help me with that. And this is another example of a finished product, not really finished, but needs some more grinding. And when I first took over this project, there were some welds here there were holes, still a little bit of holes I got to fix, but I'm waiting till we can rotate the car. But there were some holes that were being welded together that I had to come in at the top side because that would require a lot more grinding on the bottom. And I welded them together, and now they're fairly waterproof, and I need to fix a couple more of those. But that was that, and that's what I've been doing the past couple of months on the Corvair.